weeks, tension has escalated in the Korean Peninsula. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un has raised the stakes, which has raised concerns from world leaders that a conflict is in the offing. What can be done to ease the crisis? And joining us tonight by phone on NewsLife is former Foreign Affairs Secretary Domingo Siazon. He was also a former ambassador to Japan. Good evening, sir, and welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening.
Sir, reading of the actions taken by North Korean President Kim Jong-un in recent weeks, do you think he is bluffing by the mobilization of his forces, or is he ready to attack at any given time?
You see, traditionally, whenever they prepared all of these kinds of statements, they did something in the end. The situation today is different in that for the first time, China is really leaning on them to avoid possible military conflict. Now, we really do not know how much influence China has on North Korea, but they supply a lot of economic assistance to them, and they are the major trading partner of North Korea. So we just hope that somewhere along the line, the North Koreans will see that it's better not to test everyone in the region. Their recent statements on the Kaesong industrial complex seem to indicate that they might really wish to focus in the future on economic development and cooperation. But we don't really know what will happen, and we have to wait for April 15. But the Secretary of State of the United States, John Kerry, will be in the region up to about the 15th on Monday, I think. He will be in Japan last on Sunday, and he should be in China today.
Yes, sir. So at this stage, will diplomacy work in preventing a possible conflict between the North and the South?
I think the South will react only to provocations, and they will be a little bit more patient. They understand the situation.
So in your assessment, how is the U.S. taking this threat?
Well, it's very serious. They have moved several assets, naval assets. They have moved aircraft near, very seriously. And they are prepared to react tit for tat. They have made this declaration quite clear.
So at this point in time, do you think that China or even Russia can calm down or contain Kim Jong-un's threats?
You see, the problem is we don't really know who is in control inside North Korea. And is it him, or is it the military, or is it another group? So we are hoping that China, with its influence, will be able to convince North Korea to slow down and to go back to the negotiating table. Particularly since it seems recent news indicate that they might have succeeded to miniaturize the warhead and therefore connect it to a rocket or missile. They can deliver a nuclear weapon device using a missile. And they have several ones, including the Type 2, which can reach all the way to Alaska. But I think they have moved the intermediate range missiles, Musudon, which could reach up to Guam, 4,000 kilometers the distance.
So you're also a physicist. What is the worst that can happen if a nuclear bomb explodes in the peninsula? Will a fallout of radiation affect the Philippines?
It depends what sizes. The North Koreans have small ones. So it depends also on the wind factor. Remember when you had the Fukushima accident in Japan, that we were worried that we might have radiation coming all the way here.
So basically, right now,
it depends on the winds.
So right now, the government has activated its contingency plans to move Filipinos out of South Korea. Should the same be done for Filipinos living in Japan?
I think it would be a little. I think they must have contingency plans, but no one's talking about this in public, because if you show all these contingency plans, you'll just be helping North Korea's achievement of its political goal to create sufficient anxiety in the region. And I think he should try to avoid that. The DFA secretary has laid out all his plans for South Korea. This is correct because it is the responsibility of the DFA to ensure the safety of all Filipinos abroad. And Secretary Del Rosario has been very, very concerned and serious about this objective. In fact, he went to Libya the first time he assumed the office of Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
Sir, and a final word from you as former DFA secretary. What do we expect in the coming days?
Very hard. We don't really know. They say there is some logic in this madness. And so we'll have to determine what happens after 3 or 4 days.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. That was Domingo Siazon, former DFA secretary. Thank you, sir.